The question of what the northernmost city in the world is has been answered time and time again, but I thought I'd go a different direction, literally, and talk about what are the world's southernmost cities. Of course, if we want to find the southernmost cities in the world, we have to know where to look. Now, unlike in the northern hemisphere, answering this question should be a bit easier, as Antarctica is a landmass surrounded by oceans, making it a bit easier to establish towns, cities, and toy factories. In fact, there is actually an Antarctic settlement on the South Pole itself, the American-run Amundsen Scott South Pole Station. But that's a scientific research station, with a summer population of 150 and a winter population of 45. When looking for the northernmost cities, people might use the Arctic Circle as a starting point, but the Antarctic Circle is a terrible starting point, as it fits just snugly around almost all of Antarctica. And to tell you why that's a bad place to look, we must briefly turn the channel's dial over to science.
Oh, come on. Come on, please work. Come on. Come on, I know it's been a year since I've done this. Please. Perfect. Also, remind me to switch to electric science. You'd think I would have done that a long time ago by now.
Antarctica was only discovered and landed on in the 19th century, and I don't just mean by Europeans, I mean basically at all, since Antarctica has no native population. Why not? Well, Antarctica is cold and all, but I mean, it can still support life, and plenty of people live in Greenland and Canada's territories. At the same time though, Greenland and Antarctica are not the same. Not only is Antarctica colder and windier, it is also incredibly dry, actually being the largest desert in the world, as most of it receives just 250 millimeters of rain every year. Most of it is also covered in a 1.5 kilometer thick layer of ice, making the average elevation in Antarctica actually over 2,500 meters, about the same height as the Colombian capital of Bogota. The Arctic also benefits from really being a frozen ocean, as the oceanic currents going underneath it bring up warmer waters from further south. Contrast this with being in the middle of a continent twice as big as Australia. Yeah, you got nothing. Basically, nature is conspiring against any of your plans to build an Antarctic empire. Okay, so it's probably not a good idea to settle in Antarctica in the first place. With that in mind, where do we look? South Africa? No, we would barely get past Cape Town. Sydney? No, that would be like calling Baghdad or Los Angeles the northernmost city in the world. Somewhere in New Zealand? Good yes, flights to Antarctica do often go through Christchurch, but no. Actually, the best place to look is on the duckbill of South America. On the southern reaches of Patagonia, Chile and Argentina have been duking it out with the cities of Ushuaia and Puerto Williams. Now, Ushuaia is by far the bigger of the two, likely because Argentina's site of Tierra del Fuego is 19 times more populous than Chile's, but eventually Chile swooped in and established Puerto Williams, or Cabo de Hornos, just barely a few kilometers to the south, now taking the title of the southernmost city in the world at 54 degrees 56 minutes south. That answer seemed a bit simple. So it's a good thing we can go even further. As you may or may not already know from the other half as interesting video that I'm totally not stealing off of, Chile and Argentina also tried a hand at colonizing the Antarctic. Like actually full-on colonizing in a way that would make Britain and Co jealous. These attempts even included the government moving newlyweds to the continent and birthing babies there. Chile even did so while making the bases more fit for families, which is probably a good call because people don't generally raise their kids in labs. That would put you barely a step away from mad scientist status. Now these latitude numbers seem a bit low, especially in comparison to their counterparts in the northern hemisphere. I mean, Longyearbyen is 78 degrees 13 minutes north, and Copenhagen is only down at 55 degrees 40 minutes north. This is important as the Antarctic settlements don't really count as true towns or cities, since not only is the continent virtually unlivable, it's also a nature reserve, meaning that we basically put up a huge sign saying, "Don't screw this place up too," making normal human habitation a bit more difficult. Nevertheless, Chile's Villa Las Estrellas on King George Island is another claim to fame for the country, as it is a civilian settlement populated by 150 people in the summer and 80 in the winter. Hey, say what you want about that being small, but that's barely less than the amount of people at Etchicon this past summer. That place is packed. Located at 62 degrees 12 minutes south, Villa Las Estrellas is the largest of only two civilian settlements in Antarctica, other than Argentina's Esperanza base, located at 63 degrees 21 minutes south. Now, whether or not you want to call these bases towns is debatable, and Wikipedia clearly says no on the issue, so if you're picky about the answer, it's Puerto Williams, Chile. If you're less picky, Esperanza base, Argentina, and if your definition is so flexible that it literally just has to have people, then that's Amundsen Scott Station, though that would mean that the highest town in the world is also the International Space Station, which is coincidentally also the most expensive structure we've ever built. Did you know that? Oh look, I made a video about that a couple months ago. If that video piques your interest as well, go check it out and subscribe to learn something new every Sunday. Also, please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe for more every Sunday, and consider supporting on Patreon if you really want more every Sunday.